Wallahi, wallah, I swear, wallah, Malaysia is a much better country than Sweden.
Assalamualaikum, Elsa di sini. Hai guys, hai semua, halo tetangga. Gimana kabar teman-teman semua? Semoga sehat selalu, semoga bahagia selalu, dan semoga hari-harinya selalu good day. Selamat datang di channel YouTube Elsa Widianti Putri. Hari ini aku akan mereaction dari channel My Create Escape and Hijrah. Oke, ini menarik videonya guys. Kenapa dia memilih untuk pindah dari Eropa ke Malaysia? Eropa kita tahu bahwa negara maju, negara yang banyak banget dituju juga oleh orang-orang untuk tinggal di sana. Tapi kenapa seorang muslim ini dia berhijrah atau pindah dan ingin menetap di Malaysia? Pasti ada menarik dari Malaysia ini sehingga dia memilih Malaysia untuk dia tinggal sebagai seorang muslim. Nanti kita lihat video sama-sama seperti apa. Tapi sebelum dimulai video reactionnya, seperti biasa aku mau ngajakin teman-teman dulu untuk subscribe channel ini dan aktifkan lonceng notifikasinya supaya tidak ketinggalan updatean terbaru dari channel ini. Dan bagi teman-teman yang mau request bisa banget DM di Instagram aku di @elsawidiantiputri. Ya udah, tanpa berlama-lama, tanpa membuang masa, jomlah kita mulai video reactionnya. Are you ready? Let's go.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome to My Great Escape and Hijrah. And excuse me, just gonna make it a little bit comfortable for myself here. Okay, today we're gonna talk about why I chose Malaysia. And when I decided to make hijrah, I decided to make hijrah because of many reasons, but that's for another time. Today we're just gonna go through why I chose Malaysia. And when I did this, I had a list, with pro and cons,
okay.
This is good, this is not good, and I put scores, one plus, one minus, and such and such. And on this list, I have, of course, like Saudi Arabia, because of Mecca and Medina, United Arab Emirates, of course, Malaysia, and North Africa and such. First of all, United
Afrika
Arab
Utara
Emirates is
masuk
very
juga.
expensive. In North Africa, you get cheated a lot. If you take a cab ride, they're gonna squeeze you out of all of the money you have. If it's like $1 for a local, you're gonna pay $20, so to say. So people were warning me about this. People told me, like, you're a lamb thrown in with wolves. They're gonna scheme you of money and you're gonna have a real hard time. So for me, it was like, no, go for North Africa because of those reasons. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I've heard from everybody I've talked with. I've never heard anybody say, like, yeah, you should go there, you can trust the people, they're not gonna scam you and such and such. And this is what I've heard, unfortunately, but I gotta be true and to help people and to guide people where to go and not to go. I don't mean to disrespect anyone whatsoever. I don't want to disrespect anyone. I just want to help people where to go and make hijrah. Anyway, so that's why I didn't take the United Arab Emirates because it's too expensive, and North Africa because of what I just told you. And when it comes to Saudi, I don't like how the country is like developing now. Like Mecca and Medina is religious, but then you have the other places. They're like celebrating Halloween. They are trying to become the new Europe, so to say.
أنا أعتقد أن أوروبا الجديدة هي الشرق الأوسط.
Having concerts and all of these things, and
Iya, sekarang udah berubah Arab ya guys.
that's why I'm leaving Europe. I want to get away from these things. And they're like promoting it there. How's my kufi? So anyway, it's not a fashion show. It is what it is. So anyway, then I thought about, okay, what about Malaysia? They have Muslim laws here, the Sharia laws. For us Muslims, we have Sharia laws. For the non-Muslims, they have like government laws, or what you want to call it. As a Muslim, I want to live in a country with Sharia laws. Of course, I'm a Muslim, but else our option is different for me. I want to be judged by the laws from Allah, and not from humans. So that was one bonus for me, but the biggest thing for me was, of course, it's the religion. Of course, it's an Islamic country and they have Islamic laws, but the akhlaq of the people. The people, like, I met Malaysians when I went to Umrah for the first time. I had some friends, like I see sometimes and greet, say Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, but not really get to know them. Like, there's not so many Malaysians in Sweden. But we went to Umrah. And we're like 2 Malaysians in our group, and then we met Malaysians there. And the Malaysian people, they are famous for the good manners, their akhlaq, so to say.
Wow.
And anytime you met a Malaysian or a Malaysian group, because it always goes in group, you say like Assalamu alaikum, and they say wa alaikum salam. They smile at you, are very happy. But when you say it to like Some other people in there, it was like, alaikum salam, like that, you know? Not always, but sometimes. But the Malaysian people were always had this special noor, you know, always very positive and happy and super polite. So that was the thing that really opened my eyes for this country. Their manners, their akhlaq. When you're here, I pay the same price. If I go to any Malaysian store, they have like the prices here, you know? Like nasi lemak, you know, 7 ringgit or whatever. So everybody pays the same thing, you know. It's not like they make up the prices in their head as they see you, you know. Of course, they have a few places of this, you know, somewhere. I'm not gonna pretend that this is Jannah and it's perfect here. No, that's not what I'm saying. But normally, this is like how it is, you know. And it happens like I paid more like 2 or 3 times in like 6 months I've been living here. So this is one of the reasons, the people's akhlaq and their manners, and I feel safe here. And Malaysia is also a much safer country than Sweden. I'm from Sweden,
Yeah.
so I know
Oh,
Sweden.
there is Sweden.
Malaysia is
Sweden,
a much
yeah.
safer country than Sweden. I'm not saying this like to like suck up to the Malaysians or whatever. This is the truth. Wallahi, I think Malaysia is a much safer country than Sweden. Wallahi, Malaysia is a safer country than Sweden. It is. Wallah, it is. And if you ask me, Wallah, I swear to God, I think Malaysia is a much better country than Sweden. And why? Why do I think this? Because first of all, the religion is an Islamic country. You know, okay. Now maybe non-Muslims will say like me, Kafirs will say like, oh, is it because he's a Muslim? Okay, take that out of the picture. Okay, take the religion out of the picture. Look at the country. It's much safer. I can go out in the middle of the night. I don't have to be scared to get mugged or somebody gonna rob me or stab me or I'm gonna see a shooting or something. When you're in Malmö, Southside Sweden or Stockholm or Göteborg or whatever, these are the things that happen there. This is so normal. We have shootings and like, let's go through the statistics and I'm gonna prove it to you. Okay, this is why Malaysia is much more safer than Sweden. Okay, here we go. Okay, keep in mind now, in Sweden we are 11 millions. In Malaysia we are 33 millions, 3 times as many. So in Sweden, we're a third of the population in Malaysia. How many sexual crimes did we have in Sweden? We have 27,600 sexual crimes. 9,962 of this were rapes, convicted pure rapes. Almost 10,000. Keep that in mind. And look at Malaysia. How many did they have? Rapes. Malaysia have 1,553 rapes. 1,500. In Sweden we have almost 10,000. 10,000 to 1,500, and there are 3 times as many as us. So obviously, it's a much more safer country for women. I know women in Sweden that have been raped, and they're scared of going out because they're scared of getting molested and raped, and you know, all of these things. And now, let's go to the violence crime, okay? Violence crime in Malaysia. Remember now, there are 33 millions living in Malaysia. The population are 33 millions, right? 11,495 crimes we have. Crimes of violence, all right? In Sweden, as we say in Swedish, håll i hatten. Hold on to your hat now. In Sweden, the same year, we had 82,400 assaults.
Wow.
Assaults, fightings, 82,400 assaults. Now just look at the
Ngeri ya
statistics.
Swedia guys.
We have
Gila.
Malaysia with 33 millions, 3 times as many as Sweden's 11 million. And look at the statistics. I mean, numbers don't lie. 1 + 1 is 2, right? Malaysia is a much more safer country. Just look, just go to Google. Write crime in Sweden. We have like a gun violence on like escalating. And just look at the numbers when it comes to shootings, gun violence in Sweden. Here we go. 61 people have died in shootings. 61 people. 61 people. That's 5 a month. That's 5 a month in a year. 5 a month. That's like 1 a week. 1 a week. In a small country like Sweden. I googled for shootings 2022, but this is what I got, all right? We have how many bombs, explosions do we have? 133. And the shootings, 388 shootings. Like, come on, man. That's not right, you know? In a small country like that. How many shootings do they have in Malaysia? I don't know. But I never heard about a single one here. In Sweden, what do you get for shooting someone in the leg? That's like grov misshandel, you know? That's like heavy assault or whatever the name is. You get like 2 years for that. In Malaysia, you get like 15 to 20 years for just having a gun. So Malaysia is a much safer country because, I want to say, because of Islam, the religion here. But okay, let's take the religion aside. So keeping all the Kafirs happy. They have laws here. They punish the criminals here. Not in Sweden. Not as in Sweden. Like that girl who got gang raped. She got raped, and the guy who raped her got 1 million in damage because he was because he was in jail when he was too young. And the reason why he was in jail when he was too young because he was lying about his age when he came to Sweden. So he got 1 million, and the girl, I think she got like 180,000 or what's it, 80,000 or 100,000, something like that. But anyway, the rapist got 1 million. What did the girl get? Like, this is crazy. This is madness to me. So anyway, we have laws in Malaysia that keeping Malaysia safe, and Sweden doesn't have that. So Malaysia is much more safer than Sweden. Okay, the next thing. The next on the list is education. All right, education in Sweden, it's free. But
Oh, gratis di
education in
Sweden.
Sweden is free, but is it safe to go to school in Sweden? No.
Nah,
When I was living in
keamanannya ya.
Malmo, they shut down one
Balik
school
lagi.
because it was too much problem there, like stabbings and such. No. Okay, anyway, let's forget this thing, you know, about the safety. Let's only education. It's free in Sweden, right? It is, yeah, it is. But in Malaysia, as a Malaysian citizen, it's not that expensive. It's cheap. And the education in Malaysia is very, very good, and it weighs a lot on the scale when you want to go out and look for a job in the world. Malaysian education is really good. Swedish education is also really good. The schools, are they good? I don't think so. I don't think so. I give the education system also like to Malaysia because of the safety in the schools. But if you're not gonna do the safety, okay, it's 1-1. The next on the list, healthcare. Healthcare in Sweden these last years has become like a joke. I know people who've been waiting so long to get help. And they say healthcare in Sweden is free. No, it's not free. We pay a little bit when we go there, you know, so it's not 100% free, but it's almost
Oh, kayak pakai BPJS lah ibaratnya gitu ya.
And in Malaysia,
semua
as a
gratis.
Malaysian citizen, you know, it's almost like free, what I've heard. You just pay a little bit, you know. But the healthcare in Sweden
okay.
is it good? You have to wait long, and there are people who like they don't get help when they need it, so to say. Let's put 1-1 there also. Sweden is a developed country. Malaysia is a developed country. We have the infrastructure here that works, all of the road, the electricity, the water, and everything. I'm not gonna say Sweden is like, or Malaysia is better than Sweden in everything. No, Sweden beats Malaysia in some things also, you know, of course, you know, but Malaysia overall is way better than Sweden when you look at it. Because what do you want to do in a country? You want to be safe, you want to raise a family, you want to work yourself to death. You don't work yourself to death in Malaysia, but you can still make a living and have a family, and you don't need 2 incomes as you do in Sweden. Here you're like, it's normal that the man is providing and the woman is taking care of the home. Subhanallah, we need that in Sweden. Today the schools are raising our children, crying out loud. So if you ask me, I would prefer to have a traditional family like here in Malaysia. The man is providing, the woman is home with the kids, taking care of the household. And when the man comes home, he helps out, you know. When the man is working outside the home, the woman is working inside the home. Not in Sweden. You have to have 2 people working. Otherwise, you can't pay for the bills. You work yourself to death. You're so stressed. And while you're stressing yourself to death, the school is raising your kids. And what kind of... How is the school raising our kids, to be honest? Just look at the propaganda in Sweden, you know? Look at all of this gay propaganda we have in Sweden, you know?
Enak banget dia
People can
cerita gitu ya.
identify as anything,
Kayak lagi
you
di
know?
tempat ngopi gitu.
I want to be a furry. I want to be a furry. I identify as whatever, you know? Let's not go into much details with this, but we celebrate homosexuality for a month in Sweden. We have all of this like drag queens coming reading fairy tales for kids, you know, reading books for kids in libraries while they're dressed in sexy clothes, you know. What is that? What is that? What are they trying to normalize for the children? They're pushing this belief in their heads, you know. In Malaysia, you are free to raise your children the way you want it. And now people will say like, but you're brainwashing your kids. You're a Muslim. You brainwash them to like Islam and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I teach them Islam the same way as you teach them gay, like this LBQT, gay propaganda things. How would you feel? Let's ask Swedish people. How would you feel if a priest come to the school and say, this is bad, you know, the sinners will go to hell, and homosexuality is wrong, and you must believe in Jesus. Jesus is the only savior. If you don't believe in Jesus, you will go to hell. People would be outraged. They would be angry. People would be full of anger, like, who's this Christian people coming and pushing these beliefs in my kid? But it works both ways. How do you think the Christian family feels when they have like gay propaganda in the school? And how do you think we Muslims feel when we're having like gay propaganda in our school, like being pushed into our kids' head and your values? It works both ways, you know. School should be education, nothing else. Leave the moral and the norms to the home, you know. We want to shape our kids and raise them the way we want it, the way we want, not the way you want. For me, when you look about the situation, development in the Western society, all of these things are escalating. You just look at Canada, what happened here. People can go to classrooms and they can imitate cats, and they don't have to answer questions. They can just like meow, meow, meow. And the teacher is not even allowed to correct them because that's like, what do you say, like queer identity. I don't even know all these things. But it's a queer identity, so to say. So they're not even allowed to correct them and say like, hey, you're not a cat, you have to answer the question, stop meowing, meowing, or whatever you call it. This for me is like pure madness, how the society is developing, you know? We have people in our countries identify as a cat, you know, saying like, I am a cat. Can you imagine? That's crazy. That's really insane. Can you imagine that you are mentally ill and you're like having this psychosis and you're like fighting it and you're like, I don't know if I'm a dog. I don't know if I'm a dog. Am I a dog? Am I not? And you go to a psychiatrist and you say to him like, I don't know what to do. I think I am a dog. Am I going crazy? And the psychiatrist are looking you dead serious in your eyes and saying like, actually, you are a dog. You're just born in the wrong body. Can you imagine what that would do with a person? Like, oh my God. It's kind of funny when you think about it, but sad. You don't know, should you laugh or should you cry? Okay, let's go back. Why did I choose Malaysia? It's an Islamic country, has the values that I want, the values of the traditional families, and people have the right to raise their children as they want. It's safe, it's safer, much safer. And the education system, yeah, it's like the Swedish one. And the hospitals, yeah, it costs. If you're a Malaysian citizen, you just pay a little bit. In Sweden, many people go to Turkey to get healthcare because the Swedish healthcare system is so
kalau
bad.
Sweden ke
So even if
Turki.
it's for free, it's
Oh,
not
Indonesia
that good,
ke Malaysia.
People are dying waiting for things and they get wrong diagnosis and such. This happened a lot of times. And the gay propaganda, we don't have that here, you know. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
SubhanAllah, what happened in West, it's crazy, you know. We don't even are allowed to raise our kids the way we want. So this is why I chose Malaysia. Because this is the type of country where I feel that I want to raise my children in. And if you ask me, Malaysia is way better than Sweden. I'm gonna be very serious now. Wallahi, wallah, I swear, wallah, Malaysia is a much better country than Sweden. Period. That's just facts. So this is the reason why I chose Malaysia. And the next episode will be about my life in Malaysia and how I found an apartment here and how much did it cost and how am I providing myself here and how I'm doing with the visa and such and such. So, to the next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
By the way,
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
It's Ramadan Mubarak. And to all of you kafirs watching, have a
Selamat
nice day.
Ramadan.
Peace out.
Wow, ya ampun guys. Dari menit pertama sampai dengan akhir semua mengejutkan aku. Fakta baru yang aku tahu tentang Swedia, ya Allah, semengerikan itu. Angka tingkat kekerasannya tinggi banget, terus tingkat kekerasan seksual juga tinggi banget ternyata. Dan ya gay, LGBT di Eropa kan memang sangat-sangat banyak gitu guys. Ya sih, aku tidak bisa berkata-kata untuk Swedian, tapi alhamdulillah akhirnya abang ini, uncle ini bisa memilih jalan yang bagus, memilih jalan yang benar. Dia memilih Malaysia untuk dia tinggal dan ya hijrah dari tempat dia dibesarkan, dari tempat dia tinggal, di mana lingkungannya mungkin memang sudah tidak sehat di sana gitu. Jadi dia memilih untuk, saya sebagai seorang muslim, saya ingin menjadi muslim sejati dan saya memilih Malaysia karena Malaysia lebih better, lebih baik daripada Swedian. Good job. Insya Allah ya, kebanyakan negara-negara Islam tuh memang aman untuk ditinggali, tapi aku tidak tahu ya untuk Arab tuh bagaimana. Sepertinya juga Arab sekarang udah jauh berubah sih. Waktu itu mengadakan memperingati hari Halloween gitu kan. Terus banyak konser juga di Arab sekarang. Wallahu alam ya. Kita tidak tahu Arab yang sebenarnya seperti apa gitu. Tapi semoga negara-negara Islam yang banyak dipilih orang luar untuk tinggal sebagai tempat hijrah, semoga istiqomah negaranya, benar-benar aman untuk ditinggali oleh orang-orang muslim dari negara lain gitu. Good job Malaysia. Aku juga salut juga sama teman-teman yang ada di Malaysia. Bener, mereka ramah. Di kolom komentar aja mereka sering bercanda-canda dengan aku kan guys. Iya. Udah kayak cukup sekian video reaction kali ini. Bagi teman-teman yang suka sama video ini, jangan lupa untuk like, comment, dan subscribe. Dan kita ketemu di next video. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum.